I was feeding for drugs at like 7, 8 years old. It's been passed down in my family, and I've been using.
It's been passed down like a gift. I guess you're regret doing this. I had to pull that one out of you there. They'll try to help you, but you've got to do this. You've got to start helping yourself, man. You've got to start making the right choices and decisions. And also, since 8 years of age, she's been a daily drug user. Sir, you can leave now if you're going to be rude. Bye, sir. We try to take care of things in this room. You are just causing trouble now.
Today we've got a defendant who's been using and abusing drugs since she was 7 years old, and now that she's in her 30s, every single one of those choices has finally come knocking at her door. She spent decades blaming her terrible childhood, the bad influences, the environment, everything except the person staring back in the mirror. But today, that whole poor me narrative hits a wall called reality, and the judge is about to make sure she feels every inch of it. She keeps trying to hide behind mental health excuses, completely ignoring the fact that she's been the one fueling half of those problems with the choices she keeps making. At some point, you don't get to say you can't help it when you're the one voluntarily pouring the gas and lighting the match. And now she's learning finally that consequences don't disappear just because you want sympathy instead of responsibility. So here's the real question. Is this the moment she wakes up, or is this just another chapter in the same tired story? Let's go ahead and dive in.
We now call Jenna Ray Harn in cause number 25 DCCR289. That's you?
Sorry.
Here with Mr. Grove, your attorney and the state's attorney. As you know, you are charged with the third-degree felony of assault on a public servant, which carries with it up to 10 years in prison. Was the defendant entered the plea already?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's not on the
She entered a plea, yes.
The
The
earlier-
pre-sentence report was ordered by the court.
Yeah, I've got all of that. But there's nothing on the jacket that shows she pled guilty. You've entered a plea of guilty to the third-degree felony of assault on a public servant. A pre-sentence report has been prepared. The agreement that you entered into was that whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 5 years in prison. So we are looking at no less than 2, no more than 5 years confinement in prison. Deferred or unadjudicated probation can be assessed. She looks like she has a final conviction out of Jasper County for evading arrest, but she can still get regular probation from the court, but
Yes.
not a jury, Looks like. Okay, those are your options. Go ahead, Mr. Grove.
Judge, and this is not a change, it's just something that I noticed on page 2,
Yeah.
restitution issues. It says restitution issues, and there are none. I believe there is a restitution issue, but it was not part of the plea bargain and restitution be paid. I'm not objecting to that. I just want to make sure that I'm not waiving anything because I think restitution may be applicable.
In addition to the physical and emotional impact this assault has had, I have suffered significant financial loss due to medical bills, missed work, co-pays, etc. As I struggle to work overtime to pay medical bills
I'll double check
and
it
go
and
to
see if she
therapy to
anything.
heal from the trauma, I have one request from the court. I request the defendant be sentenced to state prison. Violence against public servants cannot be tolerated. And this is, thank you, regards, the complainant, registered nurse. Well, something happened there because I'm looking at restitution that.
Judge, and I know it says that, but like I say, I cannot ask for something I do not have a number of.
All right.
I can't just say generally ask for restitution. I'm looking to make sure in the file that there's nothing there.
Go ahead, David, on behalf of the defendant.
Let me give you a little bit more background on Ms. Horn, and I'm going to try to be brief. Ms. Horn has suffered from mental health problems, treatment, and services for many, many years. Starting back on page 4 under the substance abuse history, it shows basically that she has been exposed and had used alcohol, marijuana, just about every drug you can imagine, as well as synthetic marijuana during the time that she has been treated. This particular
Voluntary use.
I'm sorry.
Voluntary use of the substances.
I don't dispute that. It does not say, but I think it's in there, and I just want to make the court aware of it.
And you're not asserting she's incompetent or insane.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I believe she is competent. I just wanted to make the court aware that she does have a history of this usage, although I don't have each individual time or where it was. Now, on this particular occasion, unfortunately, Miss Horn was arrested and taken to the Baptist Hospital.
There's never a right time or a justified excuse to physically assault someone. It's literally the baseline requirement to being a functioning human being. We all grow up learning to keep our hands to ourselves, and by adulthood, that's supposed to be locked in. If you've got an issue with someone, you communicate like an adult, not swing like you're in a bar fight at 2 a.m. I genuinely don't understand why that concept evaporates for some people the minute they get uncomfortable. And for this defendant, keeping her hands to herself is apparently rocket science. She didn't just hit someone, she assaulted a registered nurse, someone whose entire job is to help patients who can't help themselves. How do you hurt the very person dedicated to helping you? It blows my mind. And I'm gonna be honest, I completely disagree with this plea agreement. A cap at 5 years when she easily could have been staring down 10? That's a gift she does not deserve. The defense is trying to push this narrative about her mental health issues and drug problems, but she's taking those substances voluntarily. Those are her decisions, her actions. And none of that gives anyone a pass to assault another person, especially a medical professional. I really hope there's some way the victim gets restitution, because you can tell.
This is an important legal moment right here. The court isn't debating whether the assault happened. Everyone agrees it did. What's at stake is accountability. Mental health explains behavior, but it doesn't erase responsibility. And when the victim is a healthcare worker, the law treats this as an attack on the system meant to protect all of us. Should pain ever excuse violence, or does that line have to stay firm?
She was in pain and told the nurse, Miss Storm, that she was in a great deal of pain and wanted a shot, and hit her. I believe it says 4 or 5 times. There was another Baptist Hospital employee who was present, who went in to help the nurse. They eventually took Miss Horn off the lady, but she did suffer the trauma and as a result of this violence. I mean, it's also clear that I believe, from looking at this record and talking to Miss Horn's family, she has been in, I believe, 8 or 9 different mental health treatment facilities, including the Baptist Hospital Neurological Center. And it's one of those things that Miss Horn is not saying that this didn't happen. She is not saying she is not guilty. But the fact that it did happen, she feels like she ought to pay restitution to Miss Storm, the victim in this case, as well as the other individual who was not injured to as great a degree as I believe Miss Storm was. And yet this is a situation where she didn't have the money, she cannot maintain employment, and doesn't have anywhere else to get the money to pay any of this restitution to Baptist Hospital as well as to the victim. And so I would ask the court to place her on either deferred adjudication or regular probation, and order as the primary service that she get employment and pay for this. She also has indicated that she will do anything she can to get help for her problem, whether that includes safety, MIP, anything, if she can just get it, because she's not been able to have any treatment for this problem during her recent history. And again, Judge, that's not, I'm not saying this very well, but again, I would ask the court to consider placing her on some type of supervision. and not sending her to TDC.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Judge, I really get upset when we start using restitution as a form of making us give somebody probation, and that's just not going to happen in this case. You can see what the complaining witness went through. She did request $5,000 in restitution for lost wages, medical costs, and travel expenses that she had to do during this time. But you've heard that she can't pay that. The defendant cannot pay that. She can't hold a job. She doesn't have the money to do it. But look what she did to this woman. I mean, this is not like she just kicked out or just lashed out one time because she was angry or mentally ill. Wasn't getting her way. She punched this woman in the face. As a direct result of this, the defendant punching me in the face numerous times, causing me to lose complete bladder control, sinus injuries, neck strain, depression, and anxiety. It will take time to heal and to adjust to my new normal in the hospital and a new department. After she has dedicated numerous years to working with mental health patients, she said, I've dedicated the last 30 years of my life to caring for patients with complex medical and mental health issues. And this incident has taken away that vibrant spirit I once had.
I'm genuinely wondering whether the defense asked for probation or deferred adjudication because it was on the checklist or because they actually think the judge might grant it. Because if it's the second one, they're living in another universe. There is absolutely no universe where this defendant deserves probation of any form. She didn't accidentally bump into someone, she punched a nurse so hard and so repeatedly that the woman lost bladder control. The victim now deals with anxiety and depression because someone couldn't handle a moment of pain without turning it into violence. And all of this was because she didn't get.
Let that sink in. This wasn't a reflex. This wasn't a single outburst. This was repeated, forceful violence that permanently altered someone's body and career. 30 years of service gone in seconds. At what point does sympathy for the defendant stop and justice for the victim finally take center stage? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
She'd accept the time instead of shopping for forgiveness.
This totally changed her life and her career because this woman decided she wanted a shot instead of what they were doing for her, and she is not in charge. This victim is asking that this defendant be placed in prison, and I'm asking you to place her in prison because she's had numerous chances over the years, and you can see she's even had a probation for evading arrest where she got it revoked and was sentenced to 800 days in county jail. When is she supposed to have asked for help? When she's facing prison time? I think it's time to get her in a place where she can realize the severity of it and not blame everything on some thing she's been blaming it on for years and not getting any help for it. Striking one of our public servants that's out there just trying to help her and hurting her so severely and causing her this much anxiety and this much of a change in life. I think that it deserves more than just a walk out of here. It deserves some time in prison to where we know that she's not going to do it for a while and that she can appreciate the severity of what she did.
All right. Ms. Horn, did you want to say anything? This is your time.
Oh no, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hit her or anything. I was going through something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad time. I was freaking out.
Have anything to do with alcohol or drugs?
I'm a user, but it wasn't that. I felt betrayed. I have voices in my head, and I felt betrayed by her not giving me a shot.
Have you been a drug and alcohol user for any length of time? Is that an issue for you?
I had addiction. I was fiending for drugs at like 7, 8 years old. It's been passed down in my family, and I've been using.
It's been passed down like a gift?
No. It's hell.
No.
I don't want to do it anymore.
You
Addicted.
okay? Well, who caused you to use drugs and alcohol
My
at a
dad
young
was an
age?
alcoholic for 28 years.
Ma'am,
My dad was an alcoholic for 28 years.
what about drugs?
Yeah.
Where did you get drugs and alcohol from?
Anywhere.
Because the pre-sentence report is made a part of the record here. And this states that for marijuana, you started at 8 years of age, marijuana, and last used March 26th, I guess, when you were arrested, and you have been using it daily. That's what you told the probation office. Alcohol, you started that at 8 years of age, and you used that weekly until 2 months before the pre-sentence report was prepared. Cocaine, you began cocaine at 15 and was a daily user of that. Methamphetamine, this one is one that I kind of asterisked. You began meth at 15 and your last usage was just a couple of months ago on a daily basis. Amphetamine, same thing, 15 years of age to March of 25. What are you, 34 now? Yeah. Almost 20 years, consistent daily use. Then, of course, there was LSD you used at 18, ecstasy at 18, mushrooms at 18, synthetic marijuana daily at 22 years of age. But how in the world can you not get some kind of have side effects from using controlled substances since you were for the last 25 years of your life, since you were 8 years of age? You don't think that's going to have adverse consequences? Of course it does. But it's terrible enough that you do that to yourself, and you probably were from what you're saying, you may have very well been in an environment where it was a child of 8 years of age, isn't at fault if it's from parents who had bad role modeling.
It wasn't.
How were you getting drugs at 8 years old, sweetheart?
I had a friend that were sisters.
Giving you marijuana and cocaine and methamphetamine? This is marijuana and alcohol at 8, and then cocaine and meth and amphetamines at 15 years of age. Methamphetamine and amphetamine you've been using for 20 years, it says, from 15 until last couple of months. This is terrible, of course. That's going to lead you to a catastrophic end, and here we are in court. Oh, and it says your drug of choice is methamphetamine. What kind of, I wouldn't want that on my certificate of achievement. No, it's just terrible. 4 misdemeanor convictions, driving while intoxicated in 2014, illegal possession of marijuana in 2015, criminal mischief in 2019, and assault causing bodily injury in 2024. So it looks like you got 5 convictions, including that evading arrest. And you were on illegal possession of a controlled substance, deferred probation.
She's been drinking alcohol and smoking weed since she was practically in elementary school, 7 or 8 years old. Then she graduated to harder drugs as a teenager, and by her 30s, this wasn't a phase, this was a lifestyle. And when the judge asked why she kept doing it, she pulled out the oldest card in the deck, blaming her parents. She claims her addiction is their fault, her choices are their fault, everything she's ever done is someone else's problem. But at some point, you're a full-grown adult with full agency, and you can't keep dragging your childhood into the courtroom like a shield. There are countless resources she could have used to get better, and she didn't touch a single one. That's on her. And when you look at her criminal record, assault charges, evading arrest, and a history that reads longer than a law textbook, it's not surprising she's in this position. Years of drug abuse absolutely impact the mind, but she's still the one who made every decision along the way. Putting her on probation would help absolutely no one. She'd be right back on the same drugs doing the same things. She'd be back in court eventually, same behavior, just a new case number.
Lady, the public servant here, the nurse who was injured, states it has caused her a profound emotional trauma. She has been a dedicated servant of the people for 30 years of her life, caring for patients, which is a wonderful thing to do. she has suffered significant financial loss, that her request of the court is that the defendant be sentenced to state prison, as violence against public servants cannot be tolerated. This violent and unprovoked brutal assault occurred while she was trying to do her job. You struck her approximately 5 times with a closed right fist to the left side of her face. A Chase Tiller, by the way, was a site technician, that's what they're called, was also assaulted by you as well during this event, as he was trying to pull you away from the registered nurse victim when you began to assault him as well. And he was struck approximately 5 times by a closed right-handed punch to the left of his head. I guess you regret doing this. I had to pull that one out of you there.
This is where the courtroom shifts from empathy to consequences. The judge has now ruled out insanity, incompetence, and excuses. What's left is choice and a pattern stretching back decades. Sentencing isn't just about punishment anymore. It's about protecting the public. And when rehabilitation keeps failing, incarceration becomes the last option.
You are required to conduct yourself like all of us, follow the rules and not commit crimes and hurt people. But once again, someone who has been a daily drug user since 8 years of age, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some conduct problems. In fact, here's what's interesting is that this occurred on or about January 31st, 2025, but you told the probation officer that you've been a daily methamphetamine user and amphetamine user since you were 15, and the date of last use was March 26th of 2025, which is 2 months after you assaulted this lady. Even an assault like this doesn't stop you from using drugs. You've been using this since 8 years of age and 15 years of age until the day you were arrested. Okay. Anything else to add?
No.
No, yeah.
If nothing further, I'm going to find, man, you have pleaded guilty voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in your guilty plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this 3rd-degree felony of assault on a public servant. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. You will be given credit for all time you have served. Yes, ma'am. You don't, yes, ma'am. You have been committing crimes since you were 8 years old, daily, according to this. I'm sorry. People are going to be safe from your behavior, ma'am. You are responsible. You have a prior felony conviction. No, they're going to help you. They help you in prison. They'll try to help you, but you've got to do this. You've got to start helping yourself, ma'am. You've got to start making the right choices and decisions. You've been endangering people for far too long. Yeah, whether you agree with it or not, that's the court's order. Anything else? That is all.
No, yeah.
I have to say that my daughter's kids pregnant. Does that count for anything? She's so pregnant.
I'm sorry. Who are you, ma'am?
I'm the mom.
Who's?
Jenna Horn's mom.
Ma'am, that's the man you need to be talking to, not me, man. There's Mr. Grove is the attorney for the.
We'll talk after. We'll talk after.
There has been nothing presented to me of incompetency or insanity. And people or if without that information to me, we don't go severely assaulting people. And also, since 8 years of age, she's been a daily drug user? All right. Well, why is she out and about? If aren't y'all supposed to be taking care of that? Aren't you supposed to be helping take care of her? Since 8 years of age, ma'am, since 8 years of age, she's been a daily drug user. Ma'am, do you think you could stop a daily drug using for 24 years? What are you? All right.
You don't know what she's saying.
All right.
I'm trying to say. She
All right.
don't know.
All right. Yeah, I'm not the one to be talking to. You need to talk to the district attorney's office that filed the case and the defense attorney who's representing her.
Told her.
Sir, you can leave now if you're going to be rude. Bye, sir. We try to take care of things in this room. You are just causing trouble now. Why don't you get part of the fixing the problem? They're the people you need to talk to. The one who represents her and the district attorney's office that brought the case. Those are the people you need to take care of. You don't need to come in here when she's at sentencing and start acting as though you care about her problems. That should have been dealt with since she was 8 years old. You can leave now. Thank you, sir. I know what we have to do here is clean up messes in families a lot of times, but there's how you can be a daily drug user since 8 years of age and the family hasn't taken care of that for 24 years is whose responsibility? And it's a shame. It's tragic. Shouldn't happen. But far too often, that's what happens at the time of sentencing. And she's been in the criminal system 5 separate times, and nothing seems to be happening. But since 8 years of age, my God, daily drug use of methamphetamine. I mean, how can the family not deal with that responsibly? Right now, somebody got a registered nurse was seriously injured, and that's what we got to deal with is the safety of the community. But prison facilities are supposed to have resources to help with problems like that, and hopefully they will deal with that in a responsible way. Did the family ever talk to you, David, about concerns?
Yeah, yes, sir. We did.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'll talk with some of the
Okay.
other people.
You did listen. Yeah, I know how you try to help. All right. But you did talk to them and deal with and
Yes, sir.
discuss the situation. That's a difficult one. But let me know what else you need on, if there's anything additional we need to do for the lady.
This defendant got exactly what was coming. 5 years in prison, even though 10 would have fit the situation far better. Hopefully being locked up forces her into actual sobriety, because this is going to be the longest stretch of her life without substances propping her up. It's going to be brutally difficult, but it's the only real chance she has to living a stable life when she gets out. And honestly, the funniest, yet most frustrating, moment came at the end when her parents finally decided to speak up. Where were they the last 20 plus years while she was spiraling into addiction? You don't get to appear in court after the sentence is handed down and suddenly start expressing concerns like it's brand new information. It's not the judge's fault she's going to prison, it's her actions and her upbringing, and ignoring that doesn't magically shift the blame. The judge's job is to keep the community safe, and her being off the